Warning. The language used on The Real Rush may be offensive to some viewers. Don't say I didn't fucking warn you.
Man, I was watching Dennis the Menace just a couple hours ago. You know, the old school 1950s TV version of Dennis the Menace and shit. That Mr. Wilson, man. That dude was one nefarious bastard, yo. His eyes were always bulging out of his fucking skull and shit, just ready to crush Dennis's and his friends' childhood dreams and ambitions and imaginations at the drop of a fucking hat. I'd like to meet that bastard in an extreme wrestling death match. It'd be the man, John Dub, versus Mr. Wilson in Hell in a Cell Elimination Chamber ladder match to the death. And when your man John Dub hits old Wilson boy with that shotgun sunrise from the top of the ladder through the chamber roof, through the cell roof, all the way through the goddamn ring. Game over. And if you want to see that shit go down, all you gotta do is bang your head to the opening ref.
Shut up and sit down.
It's shotgun sunrise, bloodshot eyes, realize we are born the dust. Who get the money, motherfucker? What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to The Real Rush. This is the man talking to you, John Dub. Welcome to episode 90 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. 90 episodes, y'all. Primetime shit. That means that we are officially on the road to episode 100. That's one followed by 2 zeros. That's a lot of goddamn episodes. We on the road to that shit, y'all. Officially on the road to that shit. 10 more episodes to go. Anywho, that's the future. We got to talk about the now. As the man stated a couple weeks ago, you know, with us being on lockdown and whatnot, that I would be keeping you up to date on not just the latest and greatest in movie reviews, but the goings on of what's going on in the movie world. You know, like what the future state of like movie theaters and movie events and movies themselves going forward for hopefully just the next couple weeks into extreme case scenario, maybe the next couple months. You know, this whole pandemic thing, you know, it's got shit all over the place, including me. So, before we get down to the brass tacks of what is on the ticket for episode 90, got some news for y'all. I guess you could say some breaking news for y'all. Because if I hadn't taken yesterday, that being Saturday, to just chill the hell out all damn day, then your man might have missed out on this breaking news, like very important information, y'all. So first up on the news ticket, on the news ticker, I suppose you should say, got some release date updates for y'all. Unhinged, the new joint starring Russell Crowe. That apparently it's like a road rage movie starring Russell Crowe, like even beyond road rage movie starring Russell Crowe. So we know that shit's gonna be fun. That was supposed to drop on July 1st. That has been moved back 9 days to July 10th. Not too bad, not too bad. Tenet, which was scheduled to drop in theaters on July 17th, that's been moved back to 7/31 to July 31st, in the hopes that theaters are still going to be open at that time. It looks like that they only pushed it back 2 weeks because that's when it's looking like the majority of theaters nationwide should be reopened. So, fingers and eyes and toes. You can't see my toes because I ain't gonna put my feet up on the camera, on screen for y'all. I don't like you nasty bastards all over Facebook and shit. Like, look at me, I'm on the beach, or look at me, I'm at the pool, and gotta show your feet and all that. Like, can't you know how to do a selfie, right? Like, you can't just like do a selfie like real quick, like, yo, this is the fucking water and shit. Like, it's gotta be the feet with the toe jam and shit all the time. Yet I digress, y'all. So, yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, theaters, hopefully. It's looking like gonna knock on, you know, the wood stand that's holding the Rush Try 2000 up here. Good luck on that shit. That does come to fruition. So Tenet, July 17th to July 31st, and last but most certainly not least, as we've been mentioning over the last couple weeks, Wonder Woman 1984 was supposed to drop. Well, it was supposed to drop actually last weekend, officially on the 5th, but we would have seen it on the 4th. And as we've mentioned in the last couple weeks, it got pushed back to August 14th, but now it's been pushed back once again to October 2nd. Cool with that? As long as it's still coming out in theaters, and we're back in theaters by that time. So, there's your release date update, and some other, I guess you could say, breaking news, you know, due to everything that has been going on the last couple. We're actually on 3 months as of like yesterday that we've been on lockdown. It's been official lockdown, just shorter than that, but we put ourselves on lockdown on the 13th March. But due to all that shit, there have been some eligibility changes for the upcoming Oscars, and we're gonna break it down here for y'all via courtesy of our peoples, the good peoples over at thegoldknight.com that dropped this news a couple hours ago. So eligibility, and I'm going to read this verbatim. Got a problem with it? Fucking come talk to me. If you're one of the 2 people that might see this, we'll have some words and we'll settle this out court and, you know, like gentle. Alright? Anywho, eligibility. So the eligibility requires that a film, and I quote, be shown in a commercial motion picture theater in Los Angeles County for a theatrical qualifying run of at least 7 consecutive days, during which period screenings must occur at least 3 times daily. The change on this is, until further notice, and for the 93rd awards year only. So that's promising right there, that they're only instituting these changes for this year in the hopes that we'll have everything, you know, back to normal and up the end of standard operations by this time next year. At the very most, films that had a previously planned theatrical release but are initially made available on a commercial, streaming, or video on demand service may qualify in the Best Picture, General Entry, and Specialty categories for the 93rd Academy Awards under these provisions. The film must be made available on the secure Academy Screening Room member-only streaming site within 60 days of the film's streaming or video-on-demand release. The film must meet all other eligibility requirements, and on a date to be determined by the Academy, and when theaters reopen in accordance with federal, state, and local specified guidelines and criteria, this rule's exemption no longer applies. All films released thereafter will be expected to comply with the standard Academy theatrical qualifying requirements. That's a pretty damn big one right there. That means that some of the titles that we've been seeing that have been streaming only, like I guess as like I'm guessing that means that even like Netflix titles. Well, we've had Netflix titles up for like Best Picture and stuff before. Yet I digress. So forget what I said there. We were about to go on a completely different tangent there. But that does open the bar up, because there's a lot of movies that have probably been overlooked widely over the last couple years just due to the fact that they haven't been coming out in theaters. But now we'll be able to get a little bit more of a wider spectrum. So that way, hopefully at this upcoming Oscars, at the 93rd Academy Awards 2K21, y'all won't be sitting there saying, well, all the movies that they pick were ones that I never watched, because chances are they came from like Netflix or Hulu or some shit like that. So, or Amazon Prime if you got Prime Video. So this actually widens the horizons for this year. Awesome. And another big one, or the other big one I should say, is they're combining the sound categories. The two sound categories, sound mixing and sound editing, have been combined into one award for best achievement in sound that emphasizes the team effort. The number of Oscar statuettes remains the same. Up to 6 statuettes may be awarded. Eligible recipients may include 1 production sound mixer, 2 supervising sound editors, and 3 re-recording mixers. Awesome. I've always wondered about that one too, because that's always like an on the fence one when we go to pick our picks out of the nominations between best mixing and best editing sound wise. So that'll be interesting to see. Listen down to nominations and hopefully more streamlined of a pick for the man here. And last but most certainly not least, out of the 3 that I'm picking out, I don't want to read the whole article, music originality percentage rule added. So that means that in the music, in the original score category, for a score to be eligible, it must comprise a minimum of 60% original music. Additionally, for sequels and franchise films, a score must have a minimum of 80% new music. I'm not sure what the percentages were before, but that should be interesting as well. So there's your breaking news. Bake on that, and we'll see what that spells for the 2K21 Oscars coming up here in a couple months. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get on down to the brass tacks of the 4 movies, this weekend's 4 new releases that I got reviewed for y'all right here, right now. And I want to go ahead and kick things off with the main event, y'all. I got to kick things off with the main event. I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't kick things off with the main event. And by main event, maybe that'll be the new term for the Rush Pick of the Week. The main event. So yeah, we're kicking shit off with the main event. And right off the bat, straight up and down, coming straight out of these lips right here, the main event, Real Rush Pick of the Week, is this movie right here, which is called The Five Bloods, the new Spike Lee joint. Five Bloods follows 4 Vietnam War vets who return to the country in the present day to bring home the remains of their fallen squad leader, as well as reclaim a treasure that they buried during one of their tours. And god damn, this is not the Rush main event for this week for no reason. Got me all choked up again. God damn, this is The Five Bloods, without question, the absolute best, the most powerful, and the most important film of 2K20 so far. And I personally, honestly think that it still would have landed this distinction without the occurrence of recent events. We take all that tragic shit that's been happening lately out of the equation, and I still think this would have landed as best, powerful, most impactful movie of the year so far. In this joint, we got Delroy Lindo, Clark Peters, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., Norm Lewis, Chadwick Boseman, Jean Reno, and Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors, our boy from The Last Black Man in San Francisco, which instantly landed in last year's top 11 Rush movies. There was no way that, unless something even greater came out after that, which there were a couple, but there was no way that should not have made the list last year, and it did. So if you haven't seen that yet, it is playing on Amazon Prime, full free. Jonathan Majors is in it. Stellar job by Mr. Majors in both that and The Five Bloods. Keep this man on your radar. Delroy Lindo, instant best actor contender. Hands down. Hands down. Driving performance by Mr. Lindo. Outstanding job, sir. Chadwick Boseman, instant best supporting actor contender. Without a shadow of a doubt. And I might go out on a limb here, but I think given, like, this just solidifies what I've been saying, at least to myself over the last couple of years, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it right here on camera. I personally believe that Chadwick Boseman is the best actor of the last decade. You can contest me on it, or we can talk about it, you can have a convo on it, but with the roles that this man is, not only the roles that this man has played, but the way that he has pulled off just stunning performances in every single one of them and not had a miss. I don't like to say that he's like, that anybody's the next somebody or the new somebody, but honestly, and given the fact that this is a Spike Lee joint that he's shining in, who else like really got their name out there in Spike Lee joints early on in the career? Denzel. Could I say that he's this generation's Denzel? That would be a little bit more appropriate. But the better way to say it would be Denzel is up there, man. He's up there. And Chadwick Boseman, just off of the last 5, 6, actually, no, we'll say within the last decade, to just wind that out. We'll include all his roles. Within the last decade, has instantly gotten him up to that caliber, in my honest opinion. Overall, the film, The Five Bloods, instant best picture contender. And I say that without hesitation. This joint takes such an unflinching look at the mostly involuntary involvement of African Americans in the Vietnam War, as well as the long-lasting mental effects that it has had on some of its veterans in real life. You know, the scars that you can't see. Can't stress this enough, y'all. See this shit, see this shit, see this shit. It's on Netflix. Oh, and the score. The score, before I forget about it. I didn't even have this written down. Terrence Blanchard, longtime collaborator with Mr. Lee. Just soulful music score supplied by Mr. Blanchard. And overall, the film, it's on Netflix. You literally cannot miss it. Everybody's got Netflix. And everybody's always looking for something new to watch on Netflix. If you can sit there and binge watch 10 episodes of the latest show that just dropped, or the latest season of a show that just dropped. This joint is 2.5 hours, a little bit over 2.5 hours. It does not feel like it's 2.5 hours. You can fit this in, get you some education as well as some entertainment. Be prepared for some heavy shit. And enjoy the latest greatest by Mr. Spike Lee. Knocking it out of the park once again, just like he came back to form with Black Klansman 2 years ago, y'all. So The Five Bloods, check it out. Next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket. This weekend was our first, it was the summer's first official major blockbuster weekend, y'all. And we keeping it rolling with the blockbusters with our review of The King of Staten Island. The King of Staten Island follows a man named Scott, played by Pete Davidson. He's a 20-something man who's been longing to be a tattoo artist, who's still grieving the loss of his firefighter father at an early age. Now this is all compounded when his mother, played by the lovely Marissa Tomei, begins dating yet another firefighter, played by Bill Burr, showing off some of his awesome acting chops. We saw him in Breaking Bad a couple years ago, but we get to see even more of his shit in this movie right here. The King of Staten Island is easily one of Judd Apatow's finest, not only dramedies, but one of his finest films all together, y'all. It is a humorous yet moving insight into Davidson's background, as this is a semi-biographical take on his life. He really did lose his father, who was a New York firefighter. He lost him on 9/11. That shows kind of how he tried to grapple with that not too terribly long ago in his life, to be quite honest with you. Davidson is awesome. With a capital A, capital W, capital E, capital S, capital O, capital M, capital E. Awesome in this movie. Like, ovation worthy. Awesome. And I don't think a lot of people are going into this movie. A lot of people, this seems to be the most anticipated movie, at least of this summer, if not this year, from my take on the responses that I was getting on like Facebook and shit a couple days ago. But I still think that people are not ready to see Davidson as we've seen him before, but just shining even brighter than we've ever seen him on any medium. There was outstanding chemistry between him, Marissa Tomei, and Mr. Burr. The film overall outright hilarious, even with the darker humor moments, while still maintaining the perfect dramatic balance in the coming of age genre and dealing / overcoming a past tragedy, plus finding one's place in life. Something that we can all relate to, I'm sure. Belle Powley is up in this joint as well. We saw her in White Boy Rick just a couple years ago. Keep her on your radar, Miss Beautiful Blue Eyes. Look for Action Bronson's cameo in it. It is funny as fuck. This joint is on video on demand, $20 rental fee, well worth it. I still have like, I'm thinking like an hour. What time is it right now? It's 6:55 in the morning as I shoot this, so I have barely an hour left on my rental period on this shit. So I would like to wrap this up so I can get back and watch it a second time. So if that doesn't spell out how good this movie is, I don't know what else will. The King of Staten Island. Spend that $20. View it as many times as you like within that 48-hour rental period. And you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. The King of Staten Island. Check it out, y'all. Moving right along to the next movie up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket. The new Disney joint that we've been waiting to drop forever was supposed to come out like twice last year before it got pushed back to this weekend, and it was supposed to drop in theaters this weekend, but due to the goings on, it got a Disney Plus only release, and the film that I'm about to talk about right here for y'all right now is Artemis Fowl. Artemis Fowl is based on a series of children's novels by Owen Colfer, and this follows the 12-year-old genius, played by Ferdia Shaw, title character, as he must obtain a magical artifact in order to save his father, played by Colin Farrell, from the clutches of an evil fairy. I thought this movie was fun. I thought it was magical. I thought it was imaginative. A lot of people are shitting on it because they're saying that if you're a fan of the source material, then it will actually anger you to watch this movie. Having not read any of the source material myself, another thing that they're actually bringing up is that anybody who hasn't read the source material might be a little befuddled by this movie. I can kind of see where they're coming from, but overall, I think that this movie was still enjoyable. I do think, however, it could have been longer. It's about a little bit over an hour and a half. I did notice that the ending was a little abrupt. It did seem a little hurried, leaving some unanswered questions and perhaps some plot holes in the movie. I only say plot holes because there was stuff in the trailer that is missing from the movie, albeit there are a ton of deleted scenes I noticed on the Disney Plus page that this movie is playing on. However, I think that it sets it up perfectly for a sequel to keep on following in the novel series, and I would totally dig the hell out of that. I think that this movie deserves a sequel. I don't think it deserves like quite the negative reviews that it's been getting. I think that kids should definitely get a kick out of this, while adults should actually find their inner child awakened by watching this, as long as you don't take the movie so seriously. Revert back to your childhood for an hour and 35 minutes and just have fun with the movie, yo. Josh Gad is up in this joint, and he shines through with his mix of tenacity that he brings to the table and his on-point humor. And we also got Judi Dench up in this, and she definitely looked to be having quite fun in this joint, having a nice departure or vacation, if you will, from her more serious roles. And just like King of Staten Island, this next part, if this doesn't sell you on it, I don't know what will. I subscribed to Disney Plus solely to watch this movie. And that was before I even knew, like, I mean, I knew what Disney Plus had to offer and whatnot, like all the episodes, like all the seasons of The Simpsons and a whole bunch of more shit that I totally forgot about that I haven't seen since I was a kid. I kind of knew what it had to offer, but then when I started flicking around on the menu and shit and really see what they had to offer, I'm definitely not mad that I went ahead and made the jump to go ahead and get that. I already had Hulu, so I went ahead and tied together the Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus package. Yet I digress. I wouldn't have subscribed to Disney Plus yet if it were not for Artemis Fowl. So do I have the buyer's remorse? No remorse. No regrets whatsoever. So that should completely speak for itself. Round up the family while we're all still in lockdown together. This is a movie that everybody of every age can enjoy. Artemis Fowl. Check it out. And because of the fact that I just sat here and told you how good I thought the movie was, how entertaining I thought it was, yet from what I've been reading, others not thinking so much, this is the one that I want to get your take on. Even though I never get anybody's real takes on anything, people want to come up and be like, well, I heard that so-and-so said this. Well, motherfucker, that's why I'm asking you if you've seen the movie or not, so I can get your take on it. You'll go tell a movie reviewer what another movie reviewer said after this movie reviewer just told you what he thought about the movie. I want to get your actual take on Artemis Fowl. So let me know what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you think it's as bad as the other critics have been speaking out about? Let your man know, and we will converse from there as a one, as a whole. Because in this day and age, we all need each other. Meant to be one. I don't know exactly where I'm going with this, so I'm gonna take a quick Deer Park break. Cheers, y'all.
I'm an ass whooper by heart, but I'm a considerable ass whooper. For example, last dude I defended this belt against, I beat his ass in the Prince William County Hospital parking lot, so that way he didn't have that far to go.
That is some high quality H2O. High quality H2O right there. Last but not least on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, I don't know if this was slated to come out in the theaters or not, but this is the one that when I mentioned last week that we were going to be reviewing for y'all this week, I kind of looked at the poster and looked back at y'all and just looking at the poster and then reading the synopsis of it and looking back at y'all, it's kind of like, this is one of the ones that it's like, I don't know about, and it's pretty rare that I get like that strong of that kind of vibe for a movie. But nevertheless, last movie on this episode's Real Rush Ticket that your man has reviewed for y'all is Think Like a Dog. Think Like a Dog. So what is Think Like a Dog all about? Before you pass judgment on it too quickly. Think Like a Dog. What happens in Think Like a Dog? Well, after a science fair experiment goes nutso. Not necessarily wrong, just nutso. A middle-aged schoolboy, played by Gabriel Bateman, develops the ability to speak with his beloved dog telepathically. Sounds kind of like, I don't know about it, right? But then again, if you go back to your childhood, like back in the 80s, you and I both know we would have been all over this shit. All over this shit. And if you need any proof of that, I got 3 words for you. Mac and me. Yes, the E.T. ripoff. When that joint dropped in '88, I don't know about y'all, but I was quite excited to see that movie. Yeah, I didn't get to see it in the theater, so I couldn't wait for it to come out on VHS. And when I watched it, I loved it. Now if you're gonna look back on it, there's not many movies that I look back on and say, what the hell was I thinking? But Mac and Me would definitely be on that list. It's got a different enjoyment factor when you go look back on it. Yet I digress. Is Think Like a Dog quite that way? Is this something that the kids are gonna love? Well, it's definitely cliche as hell. There is like literal nonsense happening on screen and through the screenplay at times, plus some quite major plot holes. The screenplay did sound as if it was written at least 10 years ago, or whenever the word badunkadunk was popular. That does get used quite liberally in this movie. However, it is probably just silly enough for the kids to like. And this would definitely be for the younger crowd. Even though with every kids movie, they do try to stick like some somewhat adult themed stuff in it to keep the adults that got dragged to stuff like this, like, somewhat engaged in what's going on in the movie. Oh, excuse me. Well, that being said, actually, some of the humor might be just a little bit too advanced, but I don't think it's too advanced to where you gotta, like, sit your son or daughter down to have, like, certain talks with them or anything. Nothing quite that bad. Or, yeah, quite that bad, or quite that adult, I should say. Where was I going with the last part? I forgot. But that ties, I think it ties into what I was just saying here. Dog lovers will probably love this movie regardless. I didn't quite find it as like, hearty, I guess you could say, as like A Dog's Journey or A Dog's Way Home, or even Dog Days that came out a couple years ago. That was one that I was like, I don't know about, going to the theater to watch this movie, and then I walked out, I was like, holy shit, that movie was good. However, even, here we go, this is where we make the loop-de-loop. Even with the grown-up stuff thrown in, most adults, I'm not saying all adults, some adults will get a kick out of this. Even at points, I got a little out of it. But most adults, this is one of those movies that you might cringe at having to watch, and more than likely be forced to sit through. It's going to be that kind of movie for y'all. There are a lot of dog poop and fart jokes in it, so that'll keep the kiddies entertained. I did like the message that it had in it, surprisingly enough, about using your voice to speak from the heart. I'm not sure why, and I'm not sure if this is happening on like all streaming services, but when I rented this on Prime Video the other night, at certain points, like when like signs or something would come up on the screen, like the sound would be in English, but there would be German subtitles. I don't know why that part is. beyond me. So as you can see on the poster there, in this movie we have Josh Duhamel and Megan Fox. They're having like a Transformers reunion in the backyard and shit. Now, many people share the same sentiment, I should say, that after seeing Miss Fox in the Transformers movies, the widely thought, or what was on most people's minds is, this girl can't act. I mean, we know that her character was supposed to play a little bit of a ditz in the Transformers movies, but even that has like kind of like an art to it. So I think that's what made me the most leariest about walking into this movie. It's like, can Megan Fox like pull off the role of a house mother? Has she matured to that partner later in life acting game? And I actually got to hand it to Miss Fox. She actually acts and think like a dog. Holy shit. Holy poop, I guess I should say, since I'm doing a family movie review. But if you made it this far into the episode, chances are you haven't had your family watching with you. So, good job, Miss Fox. Pulling off your role. I gotta admit, I haven't seen her in many other things. I heard that she was good in Jennifer's Body. But other than that, I don't even remember the last time we heard her being in anything. So, good for you. Keep doing your thing. And Josh Duhamel, he's always cool, man. And I don't know if anybody else noticed over the last couple of years, but he is really good at playing dad roles. Love, Simon. Perfect example. So, overall, think like a dog. In your man's honest opinion, I'm Ho. I'm H.O. It's not terrible. Once again, it's silly nonsense. And I do mean that in the best way possible. However, for, the law of averages, personally, I didn't mind spending the $6 for the rental fee on this joint. But for the law of averages, the average moviegoer, I will have to say, unless your kids are screaming at you to rent Think Like a Dog, and you gotta cave into that shit, unless that's the case, peep this at your own will or interest. I'm not saying risk, because it's not that low on the movie food chain. I could think of some worse movies that you could sit through. Not gonna go through that list. We'll be here all fucking day. And I'm sure you could probably think of some too. This isn't quite that bad. So, once again, if it seems to pique your interest, you catch it on Amazon Prime lineup or whatever your video on demand streaming service of choice may be. And if it happens to make your ears perk up a little, like a dog, and get your tail wagging, then this movie might be for you. Alright? So, we're going to leave it at that. Think Like a Dog. Check it out if you like. And that, my friends, is a wrap. Episode 90 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. What we got coming up for y'all on episode 91 next weekend. Looks like we'll have 3 new movie reviews for y'all. We'll have You Should Have Left. That does look quite intriguing. We have Wasp Network showing up on Netflix. And we have 7500. Anything with my man Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it, I'm sold right from the get-go. So we'll have those 3 movies reviewed for y'all next weekend. In the meantime, as I've been stating over the last couple weeks, not only have my fellow bandits been working on and have put out some stuff. So if you're on Facebook, all you gotta do is like our page. And most of the stuff that we've done, that we put out there for the last couple weeks, it's on there. It doesn't have no expiration date. Come check out primo quality humor that you haven't been able to see on stage, man. To all the people out there who have been saying, I cannot make it to the third Friday of the month show, man. Now you get to see our brand of humor brought right to you for free. No charge. Yet actually no, that's not a digression. As I was stating, yes, stating, not just saying it, but stating, us bandits, we might just have something even bigger coming up within the next few days, actually, for your asses. And the only way that you could stay up to date on the goings on of what the Stagecoach Bandits might be bringing to you, to the table, before we can actually hit the stage and have y'all back safely in our theater space as the audience again, you got to follow Stagecoach Theater Company, y'all. You can do it two ways. I don't want to say one or two ways. You should do it both ways. Especially if your ass is on Facebook. Because, trust me, if you're as burnt out by your fucking news feed as I've been over the last week or two, you could use a little bit of a break skis in that. And see something that you might get some pleasure out of. That's not a goddamn regurgitated meme. Or some shit like that. Yes. I'm gonna steady call that shit out. There's two ways you can follow us. Follow us both ways. You can follow us via our website, stagecoachtc.com. Once again, that is Stagecoach, T as in Tom, C as in Coach.com. And via our Facebook page, as I mentioned just a couple moments ago. We're under there as Stagecoach Theater Company. And once again, I'm not sure if there are any other Stagecoach Theater companies somewhere else worldwide. So if you should have a problem trying to find our brand of Stagecoach Theater Company, just look for the one that's located in Ashburn, Virginia. Give that blue thumb a click, like, you're automatically following us, and that way you're automatically in the know of what's going to be upcoming at the Stagecoach Theater Company. And that way you'll already be in tune when we're once again open to the general public. I long for that day, y'all. Or that night, whenever it may be. Hopefully sometime soon. So, give us a like, give us a follow, check our shit out. In the meantime, as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any shit like that you want to throw out at your man here, all you gotta do, just feel free. Just feel free. Type whatever your thoughts are, whatever your questions may be, into the comments section of the YouTube page where you are viewing this week's episode right here, right now. To everybody who has subscribed to The Real Rush here on YouTube thus far, thank you so much for having done so. If you haven't done so yet, what the hell are you waiting for? You want to be the first to know when your boy drops a new episode. Last I checked, we was up to 76 subscribers. I'm still trying to get to that 100 subscriber mark at least, just so your boy can get that custom URL. Let's make it look nice and pretty up at the top of the page here. That would be awesome. So spread the word of The Real Rush like everybody should be spreading love these days, even though we can't physically touch one another. We know that you're on the computer and you got the phone up and everything all goddamn day, scrolling on social media and chatting it up with your peeps. Let them know, hey, any new movies that you heard of lately? Let them know that the man, John Dub, is the only man you actually know that's got you all covered on everything you need to know movie-wise, y'all. Not only that, but given the fact that we've gone so many weeks, now months, without actually having to be in theater, there were a couple weeks, for those that are new to the program here, that we were actually reviewing older movies along with some of the new ones. So, not just theatrically speaking. Generally, any movie Out of the 300 Virgin on 400 soon movies that your man has reviewed for you on The Real Rush here on YouTube, any movie that you want to know what your man thought of and get a good, honest to God review of, any movie that you want to know about, all you got to do is go up to the search bar at the top of the YouTube page here, type in quotation marks The Real Rush, followed by, outside of quotation marks, the title of the movie that you're looking for, and then boom! Instant movie review on demand for you, because your man John Dub and The Real Rush got y'all covered for life, son! You know what time it is. And as always, you can follow your man on Instagram for my live movie check-ins and updates as they occur. You can follow your man at JDub Champion, hashtag The Real Rush. And for The Real Rush right here on YouTube, I am your man John Dub. Thank you for tuning in once again. In the meantime, ladies and gents and childrens out there, if you let your childrens watch this program, I'm not one to judge on parenting. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this episode and every episode thus far. Hopefully this episode has found y'all chilling. Hopefully this episode has found y'all safe and healthy and taking care of one another. And if you're not safe and healthy, once again, hopefully this episode is finding you on the mends from whatever may ail you. And until we meet for episode 91 of The Real Rush next weekend, y'all, have fun, y'all. Love, your man John Dub. And I don't even need the line for this one. And use my finger. And we'll see you next weekend. Peace. And